must feel good. So sometimes the uprooting on a transfer can be a very stressful thing, as it can be for somebody in any walk of life, changing their job, going to a whole new situation. So
Mm.
that won't be the most desirable thing. So again, it may be that if Real Madrid didn't come back for him, as you said earlier, he might think, well, I'm not in a bad situation here. I'm playing for one of the best teams in the country. I've been here. I've got a great reputation. When I finish, I might want to try my hand at management. I might want to be a pundit. I might want to go back to, I think he's Dutch, isn't he? He must be with the
Yeah,
Van name, isn't he?
it's yeah.
He might want to go back. He might want to go back to the Netherlands. Who knows? But people in that situation, and let's face it, he's still a young man. I don't know how old he is. He's probably 32, 33, something like that. I hope I'm not doing him a disservice. He might
Mm.
be younger, but I think he's about that age. So he's still a young guy who's got the world literally at his feet. So I would say if I was asked to make a comment and say, is he happy, is he not? I'd say, I bet he's very happy where he
Mm.
is. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, okay. Okay. So uh Erling Haaland
Yeah.
uh prefers a move to Real Madrid. He wants to play for the club. Now, if that was to happen, that would mean that Vinicius Jr., we know him, don't we?
Mm.
Would accept a 200 million pounds move to Saudi Arabia, and that would allow room for Haaland to then slot in. Now, do we think he's? I don't want to sound condescending, but do we think his game is up to that level of Real Madrid move yet? Do we think?
That's an interesting question because you imply that he's not good enough for Real Madrid, and I sort of know what
Well,
you mean. He probably doesn't play to their style. Perhaps is
yeah,
more what you're talking about. I mean,
yeah.
obviously Manchester City. I mean, in a sense, well, he does. He is a centre forward, and he plays like that. But he also comes back a lot for defence. He's got a very good work rate, and his ability. I mean, that one of those two goals he scored on Sunday
Mm,
against Villa. That wasn't Villa, was it? It was Bournemouth. They beat Bournemouth 3-1. But he got the ball in. He sort of ran. He got the ball just in their half, but
Tough,
he
yeah.
ran from his own penalty area, and then his speed. He's a big man. You might think a big man of 6'4", 6'5", would almost struggle speed wise against a fitter, slightly smaller 6-footer sort of thing.
Mm,
But no, they can't catch him. And once he gets in that range, 9 times out of 10, he's going to beat the goalkeeper because he's that good. So I would be surprised if any of Europe's top teams wouldn't actually fit him into their playing style, because clearly that's what Manchester City did. And with a goal scorer like that, what's the problem? You're going to get a lot of goals every season, which has proved to be the case. So to answer your question, I think I think Haaland would fit into any of the top teams like
mhm.
Barcelona, Real Madrid, even if you end up having to offload somebody to accommodate that, like you say with Junior. Um, yeah, it's difficult to think of any kind of striker, any centre forward better than Haaland in the world. Now, one interesting stat there I'll quickly throw in: up until this past weekend, if you looked at goals scored by Premier League strikers in the previous month, who comes out on top?
Ireland.
JP Mateta of Crystal Palace.
Is it?
He actually got more than Haaland. So
Oh.
there are players who. So there
Oh.
are players who can. I mean, that's home games, to be fair. But anyway, he's still got more home goals in that last month than Haaland. So there are other good players around. I've got to blow the trumpet for my team, obviously. But yeah, Haaland would fit anywhere, and I can't imagine there's a manager in the world who would say, well, yeah, but he might be good, but we can't really accommodate him in the way we play the ball, play football. The fact is, something I'm more aware of this season than ever, is that it seems football has reached a point now, world football, right around the world, because you see examples sometimes of the South American game, the North American game, and of course the European game, is kind of morphed or merged into every team plays basically the same way. Now, okay, some will predominate on not losing, let's have a stronger defence, parking the bus. I don't think you see that so much nowadays either, but more defensive minded, whereas many or most teams tend to want to win the game and they're more attack minded. But when you think of any game of football now, it pretty much is, you could be watching any game in any league in the world, of any league leading up to the top leagues as well. We all seem to play the same style of football. You go back a few years, and for example, probably in the 90s, even into the noughties, Italian football had a reputation for being slow and a bit laborious and exacting. And they were good players, great players. Italy have always been good, but it was a different, less exciting type of game. Now that's all gone. Those things, all the, I remember over the years, the Netherlands have been so, total football. That's what they play. In other words, every player is good on the ball technically. Well, that's been the case for teams now for years. All players are good on the ball technically. They can't afford not to be. So yeah, I think most teams play the same style of football. You get your 5-3-1, 4-4-2. Well, that's not very common nowadays. It all seems to be, excuse me, three at the back, two wing backs, and then your midfield and two or three strikers, etc. One at the front with two laying off him. It is all very much a limited tactical game now. So coming back to Haaland, I think he could fit in anywhere, because managers, they all play the same style of football. I'm not sure if it's good or bad. I think it's probably good that they do, because generally the games are exciting. That was a game last night. It was a bit end to end, Real Madrid against Liverpool, when it was great to watch. Great to watch. And and of course the other foreign games were Arsenal, they won 3-0. Tottenham won 4-0. Arsenal were away. But again, plenty of goals in those two games, because again, the excitement is there.